20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, God bless you. Welcome to the Stephen Smith Show. Good to be in front of you on another week. Good to be seen also. I was looking at something at the screen, but we're okay. Thank you for joining me on another Tuesday night. It is indeed a blessing to be before you. And I pray that tonight, you're watching tonight, this will bless your life. I'm so glad about that. Just wishing that everybody's doing well. Summertime is progressing. So I know a lot of people are going on vacation, schools getting ready to bounce back around. So it's just a real vibrant time at different times for folks. If there are any prayer warriors out there on Friday at 10 o'clock, I just want you to call my name. You don't have to say, if you can get a prayer through, just say Elder Stephen Smith. Just call my name. No details on that. I just want you to call my name and lift my name up. Also, every week that I come on here, I usually have someone that has been affected in some way, but I just want to give out kudos to my mom and my father, praying for both of them right now. If I'm 50 plus, then they're older, just praying for them, praying for their strength, praying for my own wife. I wanted to come tonight. I think I was going to use a message called Just Follow Me Home. And, because everybody evaluates things on how you look in the marketplace. And sometimes just because somebody has the biggest house doesn't mean that their house is the happiest. And I was just going to talk about Just Follow Me Home. But that's not what I'm going to elaborate on tonight. Miss Debbie, if you send me another text in the middle of my broadcast, we're gonna have it out. Thanks, Miss Debbie. I will follow instructions. But I want to talk to you tonight because I was driving to work this morning. I was just thinking to myself, and it's amazing sometimes how all of us have had our season of being underestimated. That's just not a good feeling to be underestimated. However, I do realize that sometimes there are distinct advantages to being underestimated. So on tonight, I'm going to talk about the blessing of being underestimated. The blessing of being underestimated. Like I said, all of us know the feeling, the hurt, the pain of being underestimated, how people will act as if life has shortchanged you. They'll minimize you. They'll underestimate you. They'll overlook you, pigeonhole, or small fry you. I got folks that they come and they talk big stuff. If they open the door is this big. And if you open the door, they minimize you. They give you the small fry. Everything they got come into it. All right. Okay. All right. Everything that they do is biggest size. You can do something, and then everything that you do is just small fried. And all of us know, and it is painful to be underestimated, where people don't think that you're on their particular level. You don't bear up. You don't add up. You don't measure up to where they are. But sometimes there's a blessing in being underestimated. Many times God has kept you off of the enemy's radar. Sometimes right when you're underestimated, right when they don't think that you got enough juice, right when they don't think that you got enough intelligence, right when they have overlooked you, right when they don't think that you didn't come from the right school, you didn't come from the right side of the tracks. Sometimes those jokers get so overconfident that they mess up. You got to think. Now, David beat Goliath, And everybody looks at Goliath's advantages. But Goliath, the man, was carrying around a shield that weighed 100-some pounds. Sometimes it's a blessing in being underestimated. And he was cocky. He didn't even have his face. He didn't even have his face blocked. He said, you send this man out here with sticks or staves, whatever the text may say. And folks, that's how it is with you. Sometimes God has you not even showing as a blip on the enemy's radar. And you think that's a curse. But every now and then, God has you working behind the scenes where he can work on you. He can patch things up. He can strengthen you. He can make people forget that bad fall you had. He'll make people forget your sin. He'll make people... Sometimes when God's working on you, you don't need to be out front. A lot of times, God can do some great work when you're in the background, when there ain't nobody paying attention to you, wherever you sitting in your little old corner. Where, that's the time when God can do some of the greatest things in you. That's when the enemy gets so overconfident because he feels like he's got you. He's going in for the death move. But God is so savvy that he can prepare a table before you, right in front of the enemy, right in front of your haters, right in front of the people that overlooked you, right in front of the people that thought that you would never get the job. I remember in different seasons in my life, I've had people say that you're crazy to do all that work. He's crazy. He's the last one here in the building. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. So I was crazy for a long time. And then all of a sudden they stopped calling me crazy and they started calling me boss. Folks, look, everybody has a season, a time, a minute, a moment, and it's a blessing sometimes in being underestimated. God gives some of us the time to recover, time to grow, time to get things back under control. The enemy has underestimated you, so please be sure that you know that he hasn't made adequate preparations to face you. He can't prepare for you because he ain't made no plans for you, because he don't even think that you bear up, that you measure up. And folks, I'm speaking that word to somebody out there in SVP land, somebody out there in the social media world, because you're feeling bad because people are underestimating you. You're running person to person, wanting to be substantiated, wanting to be recognized, wanting to be acknowledged. And folks, in this particular season, God may not have any of that coming your way. This is the Bible, again, as I always say, it's the glory of the Lord to conceal a matter. That God somehow has hid you away in his private workshop. Preach, Steve, I felt that one. In his private workshop, and he's working on you behind the scenes, far from where the enemy can notice what he's doing in your life in this particular season. And you think it's a curse because no eyes are on you. Right now, sometimes it ain't time for some people's eyes to be upon you, because it does not yet appear what you shall be. And folks, look, God's working on a shall be in your life. That God always has a moment where he'll bring you from the background all the way to the forefront. That God has a moment set on his calendar, heavenly calendar, divine calendar, where he's going to substantiate you, where he's going to certify you in the light of day. Child of God, my brother and my sister, there's a blessing in being underestimated. Because, part of the blessing of being underestimated is just that great moment when you find those just God moments, when nobody even took you serious. And here you are, God has elevated you and nobody was looking. And they know it couldn't have been you, because you on your own wouldn't have been able to do it. But God used that moment. I think it's Matthew Henry that said this. He said that the weaker that the instrument that God decides to use, the greater the power of God is able to be recognized. So, folks, His strength is made perfect in weakness. Your human frailties, your human shortcomings sometimes are the best display channel for the power of God. And I'm telling you, in this particular season in your life, they may be overlooking you as a preacher. You know, they don't even let you play in any of their preacher games. And folks, that used to drive me crazy because I knew I had a gift. I knew that God's hand had been upon my life. I knew He had poured some oil all on top of my head and then it ran all the way down. So I knew that, but this click thing, sometimes you're thinking that because they don't let you in the click because you don't have ability. But child of God, I'm coming to certify to you that sometimes they won't let you in the click because you got it. And see, there's a blessing in being underestimated when they know that you don't have the connections and you're not able to rub shoulders and you're not able to laugh when they're not to make people laugh when they're not tickled, and when you're not named among the named among, and yet God still does it. I'm saying to you right now that there's a blessing in being underestimated. Many times your being underestimated keeps you off the enemy's blotter. You're not showing up on the enemy's screen. The enemy's not putting any attacks on you. And that's a blessing to you. That's a time for you, like I said, to get your life together, to operate under the enemy radar where the enemy can't detect you, because he's always on his mission to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Preach, Steve. And then when they're saying, where are you coming from? Where that cometh thou from, Satan? He said, I'm going to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. Child of God, I think this moment where you're being underestimated is a season that God's protecting you from showing up on the enemy blotter, on the enemy radar, that you won't be prey for the enemy, because God's got this season where you're so lightly regarded that you're being overlooked and people don't think that you bear up to them. And in this moment, God is working behind the scenes, mending and patching that which the enemy has intended for your express evil, and God will turn it around for your good. Child of God, there's a blessing in being underestimated. I wish I could find every one of the preachers and apostles and potentates that underestimated me a time back. I thank you. Everything that you did went into the building of me, what the making of me. I'm stronger because you overlooked me. Preach, Steve. I had to give my own self that one. I'm stronger because you didn't let me play in your little clique. I'm stronger because you wouldn't invite me. You invite somebody that just got introduced to their Bible the first time before you would bring me. And folks, I'm glad that you did it, because I wouldn't be in this position at this particular moment if you hadn't underestimated me. But God has the express ability to savor a moment like this. I said to myself as I was talking this morning, having a little talk with myself, and I said, God, and I was thinking that God always has an express moment, a surprise moment that he has reserved for those that stay faithful unto him. I think somewhere between Genesis 47 and Genesis 50, where we're speaking of Joseph when he revealed himself to his brothers, that their voices, that they couldn't even say a word. How the brother that they had thrown away, that they thought they had gotten rid of, that they thought whose goose was cooked, all of a sudden his brother is standing in splendor, that he's standing above the commonly, that he's walking in a kingly fashion, and he's right there, the brother that they once disregarded, the brother that they once looked over, the brother that they thought they had put to an end. And I'm telling you, sometimes there's a value in being underestimated. You're being underestimated at some seasons